Are you ready to unleash your full potential and become unstoppable in your success and leadership?
Welcome to the Unleashed and Unstoppable podcast, where we provide powerful insights and strategies for coaches, corporate leaders, and entrepreneurs. I'm Alexanne Carter.
And I'm Carol Register, and we're certified master neurocoaches who are passionate about helping you overcome your limiting beliefs and optimize your performance.
Each week, we'll be sharing actionable tips and strategies using neuroscience, from interviews with industry experts to solo episodes, to help you lead a life of power, purpose, and possibility on your own terms.
Join our community of like-minded individuals. Hit subscribe now, and let's be unleashed and unstoppable together. Hey, here we are, Alex. I want to just thank you for being my partner on this journey. We're celebrating today 4 years together, and what a journey it has been and will continue to be. It's been so enlightening and learning in terms of the give and take of partnership and the working together in alignment for a common goal and a common theme, and the desire in our hearts to love and serve you with how to be unleashed and unstoppable, which is what we are serving ourselves with, right? So thank you for being here with me.
And Carol, it's been so fun to create this space, right? And really stand for the men and the women that listen to our podcast, leaning into what it really takes when we unpack the neuroscience, are sharing our own stories through our lives and how things have changed for us over the last 4 years. And just being so aligned with the mission and vision we have about standing for you and knowing that you can be unleashed and unstoppable, and knowing that it really is these subtle shifts, right? These subtle daily practices, being connected to what is really going on in our brains, right? Leaning into doing things messy and creating partnerships and leading from the love and the genuine connection and courage and, confidence that it really takes. And so we're so grateful for you, listener, for supporting us in the last 4 years and continue to be on this process, on this journey with us as we continue, right? And heading into our 4th year, celebrating our 5th year, and being on you are a partner with us on this journey. And I think we just get to know as well, right? For your feedback, the things that you've asked for. Continue to reach out and share with us what topics you'd like for us to lean into and unpack. That'll help you truly step into your irresistible bold leadership self and be unleashed and unstoppable.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. And thank you for following us and for being on this journey with us. We're super excited about that. Today is a special treat for you. We're sharing an episode recorded for the Carol Register show, and I would love to have you follow me on YouTube. This is an interview done with Don Green. He is the executive director of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich and Outwitting the Devil. I'll bring up as well, Think and Grow Rich, really leaning into our mindset. So what's so interesting to me is that Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich in 1937 and was published many years later. Outwitting the Devil was written in 1938. And back to back, Napoleon Hill was actually living these things. He was living the work. And where Napoleon Hill leans into mindset principles and those things we want to step into, Outwitting the Devil really discusses facing the fear that goes along and how to deal with that fear. So I think of them as really beautiful companion books. And it's been interesting, Alex, because for high achieving leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs who we talk to here, it's not about work ethic or intelligence. It's really about facing those hidden fears, those limiting beliefs, and the things that come up, all those subconscious limits. And here he was writing about this back in 1937 and 1938. How incredible is that?
It's fascinating, right? We know this, the study of neuroscience is very new, right? Manifestation, a lot of that have been around a lot longer, but really studying neuroscience has been, I guess at this point, maybe it's about 30 years ago,
Mm,
something like 25, 30 years ago, which I know when I first learned that, I was very surprised. So when
mm,
you have authors, like Napoleon Hill writing these books, already becoming aware, speaking into this prior to a lot of research having started, it really goes to show, right, the power and the impact that the neuroscience and our brain plays in our identity, our beliefs, our decisions, right, our actions and our results.
yeah,
And I love that he spoke so much into this, especially after our episode last week when we dove into fear and talking about really facing your fears, right? Talking
mm,
about, the big wave, which is the fear, and me sharing, a vulnerable experience from myself, exactly as you're saying that
yeah.
he's right. It's like it really is
Definitely catch the episode last week on the surfing. Yes.
and that's it, right? Like you really showing up and facing your fears. So it's been such a honor to have him here, well, with you on your show, and then bringing this episode here to Unleash Unstoppable, and really, I think this is a theme, right? We talked a lot about perfection, and the reason why we experience the perfection is because of these fears. And now, really unpacking and diving into fear, there's so many layers to fear. So, this is a nice sort of theme that we've sort of transitioned into
Yeah.
speaking about. As you're saying, that it is the thing, right? It's not about the hard work, the grit, and the resiliency. It is about the confidence, the courage to be able to lean in and face the fear, overcome the fear, befriend the fear, right? And
Reprogram. Yeah.
reprogram, yes, our beliefs and our inner dialogue that's going on as we encounter the fear. Or for me, this is my big thing now, the big wave.
And Don Green highlighted a book in this episode, The Millionaire Vision. It's really a beautiful episode. He's in his 80s, 85. He did a course called Keys to Success. He works in conjunction with the University of Virginia, and the Keys to Success required course, and especially in business and a business degree. So enjoy this interview, and thank you for being with us. Stay to the end. Hi, welcome to the Carol Register Show. I have Don Green, Mr. Don Green, to you, thank you, and to me, because it is an honor to be here with the gentleman who oversees the foundation for Napoleon Hill and for his works. And Mr. Green, thank you for being here. It is truly an honor with the work you do, transforming lives, helping students to attend school. You've been at this for quite a while, and I know you had a background in finance, banking, real estate. When and how did you become the executive director of the Napoleon Hill Foundation?
Okay, well, sometimes your ship don't come in, okay? If your ship don't come in, swim out where it is. I
Mm,
was working as a bank president, and I had read the books and read the books, and I wrote them a letter and told them what I was doing. And Debbie Clement Stone, I got a letter. They would like to have lunch with me. So I flew to Chicago. We had dinner at the airport. And he told me, he said, I swear, you know more about these books than I do. He said, you ought to be a board member. So
mm,
it came around. I was a board member, and we had the opportunity to sell the bank. I'd been there 18 years. Some of the old trustees were living out of state, wanted their money. And at the same time, the trustee the only one they'd had to run the foundation, Mike Ritt. He got physically disabled and couldn't do it. And they asked me, and I said, okay, but not in Chicago. I would have to move the foundation. And by the way, we're located in Wise, Virginia, and this is where Napoleon Hill was born and raised. So
Wow.
it only seemed proper that this is where we're located. Our offices are on the campus of the University of Virginia in Wise. I started teaching a course called Keys to Success as a night course, give all the money back to them in
Yeah.
1998. And the course is still taught today. It's a required course for people majoring in business. So they think very highly of the course. I don't teach it no more, but I taught it 11 years. But it's been taught consecutive for 28 years.
And that's with the University of Virginia, correct?
Yes.
At Wise. Thank you so much for that. You had actually started this bank and then sold it in this journey to becoming the executive director of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. With your background in finance and in understanding investments and numbers, how did you bring that to increasing and growing the Napoleon Hill Foundation?
Well, I guess I like people, but there's only two ways to make money, and that is to give something that people either need or they won't.
Yeah.
And, the book had sold 100 million copies. They had 16 books when I started, or Napoleon Hill Foundation did, in the year 2000. Today we got about 170 books.
Wow.
Uh, and they only dealt in the United States except for in English, except they had one Japanese customer. Today we today we have over 500 foreign publishers. We
Wow.
have we have 43 different publishers in Russia alone. So our books are very, very popular.
Wow. And when it comes to what you're doing with the foundation, it's so interesting to me because I'm neuroscience based, and Napoleon Hill was speaking about the mind long before, we were really speaking about things in terms of neuroscience. He also wrote a book, Outwitting the Devil, that has been recommended many, many times. And what do you see? Are these companion books, would you say?
Well, Outwitting the Devil is next to Think and Grow Rich. I had the manuscript. Outwitting the Devil was written in 1938, and the trustees didn't want to publish it because Napoleon's wife and our chairman's mother, who was Charlie Johnson, he was Napoleon's nephew. Napoleon paid him to go to school. He became a cardiologist. But I read it and I kept telling them. And finally, one day I told Charlie, Charlie, you said the women didn't want to publish the book. Both of them are dead. And he said,
Mm.
you want to publish a book? I said, Charlie, we're always making money for the kids. Okay, you're going to publish it anyway. No, no, you got to tell me yes. He said, publish it. After we published it, he hit the bestseller list. One day he called and said he is speaking to a group of 50 cardiologists. Could we ship him 50 of that book to give out? I thought to myself, that's a long way. For yours, you didn't want it published, and now you want me to give you books.
Mm.
But uh, last time I looked, I think it's in 73 different languages. So it's done quite.
It's done amazingly well. It's been recommended in several of the events that I've attended. It's on the top selling, the top recommendation list is Think and Grow Rich and Outwitting the Devil. And I think that the points that are in these books are so powerful for transforming lives. And with the keys to success and the course that you require for the students, what would you highlight for us to start to apply to our lives today?
Well, the keys to success, it's a good refresher course for people who's read Think and Grow Rich, or if they've not. It covers all the principles.
Mm.
And you mentioned a while ago the mind, I thought was interesting. I'm working on a little book. He called the mind the greatest miracle of all.
Mhm.
And no doubt it is. So it's just amazing to see the material. See, I don't, yeah, here it is. Uh, I've written a lot of books, uh, and my daughter, my only child, has a piece of property in Hilton Head, uh, which is a resort area and an expensive place. We were going down there one weekend, and she was driving. This has not been long back, and we were going up the mountain, Interstate 81. It goes from North Carolina, Tennessee into North Carolina at the in those beautiful mountains. And we was driving up the mountain, and I looked over and I saw this big old brick church, and it had a wall in front of the church. You could read it from the interstate.
Wow.
Where there is no vision, the people perish. Job verse in the Bible. I said, Donna, you see that? Yeah. I said, I'm gonna write a book about that. About what? Vision. So we was down there a few days, and I got back. I called a publisher and I told him the little what happened, and that I would like to write a book on vision. And they said, we'll publish it. So I took about 2 weeks of a night after I got home, and I wrote this little book. It's called A Millionaire Vision.
Wow.
And it's done real well, because what I'm trying to tell you is you need to see where you want to be rather than where you are. It's a vision and looking forward. See, people in poverty, what do they vision? They vision more poverty. What
Mhm.
do they get? They get more poverty.
Yeah.
They turn their mind towards what they would like to be, what they like to accomplish. And that's what I'm trying to tell you in that book, A Millionaire Vision. Because
Millionaire Vision. Wow. What a powerful, book that can help us to remember to be looking forward and not staying in the state that we're in. If we are in poverty or we're in a state that we no longer desire, this is something that I speak into all of the time, that we get to create our reality. We are co-creators, and we get to write our story by the choice of the way we think. Um, and I especially appreciate that you've written many, many, many books, excuse me for a rough voice, but many, many books. And it's something that is so powerful, along with Millionaire Vision. What other book is a top seller that you've written that you want to highlight right now for us?
Well, I mentioned the book. You mentioned the book 3 Feet from Gold. That's a story in Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
And Greg Reed, we were talking, and we he wanted to do a book, and we started, and we got about. I was busy. I think we had 80 pages. Sharon would know, and Sharon Lecter had been on to me, and I said, Sharon, why don't we finish this book? And so they finished the book together, and it hit the bestseller list the first week, and it's
Wow.
it's simply it's it's to help you rid of procrastination. People quit too soon. They don't know how close they are to succeeding,
Yeah.
and it was accepted real well. Here's a little book we published. Uh, it's just recently. It's called A Six Ghosts of Fears. This is
Wow.
it's taken from thinking. It's taken from uh, think
Outwitting the Devil, or
well that and think and Grow Rich.
mm,
The verse out of out of that what the devil said. The devil fears nothing but a thinker who controls his own mind.
Mm.
Um, and it's to help you in self-sabotage and take control of your destiny.
Wow.
But they are their poverty, criticism, ill health, uh, loss of love, fear of old age, and death.
Amazing. Those ghosts that keep us in the state of fear. And it's interesting that the title of the book is Ghost, right? Focused on the spiritual, on our energy. And I know as well you have another very popular book that you've written is Napoleon Hill's 90 Days to a Positive Mental Attitude, transforming your outlook, transform your outlook, transform your life. Um, and your secret book, Napoleon Hill's Secret, and these um, books that you have written that really help us to understand and lean deeply into these principles that Napoleon Hill highlighted in Think and Grow Rich. And on the fear side, Outwitting the Devil. That's where I see them as beautiful companion books with the principles to change our mindset and move forward and to address what comes in that limits us from doing that as well. Uh, when we're talking about a positive mental attitude, what inspired you to take this principle and highlight it for us?
Well, it's so important, and it's actually a work study. It gives you sets of things you can go through with. Now, when we read, and I read a lot, I've read thousands and thousands of books.
Yeah.
I read 3 or 4 books a week, most all the time. Lots of nights I read a whole book because I lived alone for 11 years that my wife passed away.
I'm so sorry.
I don't watch television. I owned a cable company for almost 20 years, but I really don't watch television. But anyway, the difference is we read, and there's nothing wrong with them. There's a lot of good writers. They write these stories, and you have to read them to the end, like David Baldacci and John Grisham, where they're mysteries or love stories. You have to read right to the end to know what happened. Did the boy get the girl? Did the uncle die and leave him all his money, or what happened? You know on the last few pages. But this material we got and we study it, we can write our own book. We can write our own life by sitting and planning it. And you said Napoleon Hill's secret. The secret is one word. It's action. You can think all you want to, but you got to do something other. You can, your husband can tell you he would like to have a chocolate cake, and you can give him a list, flour, all these different ingredients. He can go to the store and get them and set them on the table. But
Yeah,
if you mix them and put them in the oven, nothing's going to happen. And
right.
it might not turn out right the first time. But who said you got to quit? Maybe the oven wasn't hot enough. Maybe it was too hot. But you eventually perfect it if you take action and you persist. And persist is so important. It's so important to not to give up. So many people they'll try something. Well, I know I should have known better, or my spouse said it wouldn't work, and you just quit, and then you try something else, and then you try something else, and you never succeed at anything of importance.
Yeah. Wow. It's such a great story highlighting. I want a chocolate cake, the vision coming in, and you go in it and you attempt to create the chocolate cake, and maybe you don't just hand somebody the ingredients, you go to work and take the action, and maybe you don't get it right. And so you try it again because the oven may not be right, or something else may be off, and you keep trying. You stay knowing you're 3 feet away from gold, and the action piece from The Secret, bringing clarity. Okay, this didn't work out right. I'm going to try it again. And just applying these principles, it's such a great story to help us realize, oh, okay, I can keep going. I can keep trying, and I can start to have a plan. And through my plan, I can learn and then go again. And then pretty soon I've got a beautiful, perfected, or not perfect, an excellent chocolate cake that I can sit and enjoy. And so I love this story, and I thank you so much for the wisdom that you bring and that you're willing to continue sharing with us these principles. You're continuing to write, you're continuing to speak. And I really thank you for being here. Are there any principles that you'd like to leave us with as we wrap up, Mr. Green? And how can we contribute to the work that you're doing in the Napoleon Hill Foundation?
I'll tell you one of the important topics we don't talk a lot about. It's auto-suggestion. I taught the keys to success when I was a bank president. I taught it as a night course, and I give every cent of the money to scholarships. And I don't mean to boast, but my daughter counted them at the last scholarship lunch. We,
Wow.
we in the foundation, we have 85 scholarships at the University of Virginia. But one,
Wow.
one of the topics I talked about was auto-suggestion. There's a book by a name don't come to me, but it's what do you say when you talk to yourself? That is the most important conversation your girlfriend could say, "Hey, that dress is not appropriate," and you could accept it. But when you tell yourself, "I'm not dressed proper," we tend to believe what we repeat to ourselves, good or bad. So it's important to keep telling yourself, set up positive messages. I got one it's in my on my desk, and it's in a where bathroom. It says, uh, "If it is to be, it's up to me."
Mm,
And another one is,
yeah.
"Someday is not on the map.
Mhm.
It's not a calendar. There's 7 days in a week, and some days not one of them." When we say someday I'm gonna pay off the credit card, someday I'm gonna visit my old folks, someday I'm gonna start a book, we ain't doing nothing but lying to ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to say, July 1, I began my first book. I'm going to finish it in 12 months. Then you break it down and say, well, it's got to be about 40,000 words.
Wow.
That means 3,000, 3,500 a month. And the first month you miss or you don't start, you'll never get there. And you have to keep saying, but the thing of it is, our subconscious, it'll accept negative things. I'll
Yeah.
never get a job. Well, there's no use to go apply. You already feed yourself. You got to tell yourself they can't wait to hire me, you know, and I can convince them that I can make a difference. And you keep telling yourself positive self-talk, or we call it auto suggestion. But
Auto
like
suggestion. I had
work,
not heard that term. Thank you for that, because that's one of the things that the work that I do with my clients is that inner critic, and we have specific tools that are available to us to change that programming, if you will. But I had not heard that term, auto suggestion. And I really appreciate that.
you
And
send me you send me your address and a note, and I'll send you that book. I can't. It's an Indian person. I can't remember his name, but it's a real popular book. What do you say when you talk to yourself? I've got a copy somewhere around. You send me your address and mention that book, I'll send it to you.
thank,
Okay.
thank you so much. Thank you for being here. One final thing. I speak to people about their wealth identity, and really, wealth is a vehicle. It's truly about our identity, how we perceive ourselves. And these are core principles in the work that you do. What would you share with us to help us to know that we are abundant by divine birthright and how our identity affects the way we think about things. You mentioned thinking, perceiving being in poverty earlier and perpetuating that story. How would you advise us to turn around the story about who we believe we are in regard to wealth?
Well, like in that millionaire vision, if we don't see ourselves a millionaire, we're not very likely to ever be one. It won't fall out of the sky and hit us.
Wow, that's right. And so I'm excited to read the book. I don't have that one, Millionaire Vision. So thank you very, very much for being here. Thank you for your work with the Napoleon Hill Foundation. And I'm really excited to put information in the notes so that we can get in touch with you and contribute to this incredible work that you're doing in the world.
Well, we appreciate you. I said, I don't know how long I'm supposed to do this, but I'm already 85. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And that's why I deeply want to thank you for continuing this journey of helping us to live better lives and to create a better world. Um, and
You're
thank you.
any time I can help you, let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, what an incredible interview with Mr. Don Green. Here he is, 85. He's still going, still committed to his mission and vision for helping the work of the Napoleon Hill Foundation and all the many publications tied to it to spread. There's over 90 books, 90 publications tied to this based on Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich and that subconscious reprogramming work that was being done for millennia behind us. Now, as you mentioned in the beginning, neuroscience being a relatively new science where we're putting some actual scientific basis and measurement on our ability to create reality. So it's incredible. And Alex Leanne, a couple of the books to highlight, I mentioned The Millionaire Vision. Well, he also wrote Napoleon Hill's Secret. And leaning in there in The Secret is the difference between the reader and the one who actually achieves. And that difference that is highlighted is action. Now, you and I know we talk about all the time, you can take action and just continue to run into walls. It's not the action first. That's not what works. It's what works is, setting the foundation, reprogramming the limiting beliefs, having the clarity on our vision, and then being able to move forward with it.
The identity piece, right? Being able to see and operate from that place, right? That next level of you, that higher level of you, right? And then reverse engineer, okay, what would this person take action by, right? It's so easy to stay where we are currently, right? But there's the reality and there's the rehearsal, and we can step into that and really step into, right, that thought beliefs, that the action, the decision space from that person that we're becoming, right? When we can operate from that. And I know for myself, and I know you, Carol, like this is what we have integrated into our own vocabulary when we're making decisions, right? To
Right.
support. We are when I use mine, right, a best-selling children's author. What
Yes.
decision am I making from a best-selling children's author space, right? I'm embodying the way of being, the thought process and the belief, right? I'm rehearsing being that person, right?
Yeah.
As it's unraveling right in front of my eyes. But this is what we can do because our brain doesn't know the difference. And so taking that committed action, right, from that space, right, as you're listening to this podcast week after week, it's our invitation to you, are you being an active listener? Or are you actually taking what you're hearing and putting it into practice and putting it into play, right? If it's one thing each week that you can implement, will support you in leveling up
Yeah.
in your belief system, in your identity, to
Yeah.
get you towards that unleash and unstoppable space.
the simple tips and tactics. We have the tools, right? And so thank you for leaning into that. And thank you for being on this journey with me. I just want to reiterate that again. What are some highlights from our 4 year journey together that stand out to you?
I think I still go back to the vision, right? And we talk many a times on this podcast about vision. I had a vision, and I had a vision to host a podcast with Carol. And I originally proposed the idea to her. And at first, she wasn't ready, right? And then being in the leadership space, and again, going back to my vision, right? Why we do what we do is fueled by why we do it. I went back to Carol and I enrolled her into the vision of what we could create. Now, there's no way I would have known back then that 4 years later we'd be here, but I still would go back to that commonality, that vision, that stand that we have back then, and now even with the launch of our podcast, when we did our burnout summit event together and brought in some amazing speakers, and just the collaborativeness of our journey along the way, and the growth that we've both seen in ourselves. And because this is more behind the scenes and we don't usually record this, but Carol and I are often like connecting, touching base before we record, and we talk about our brain primes.
Yeah.
We talk about and we share our wins and we share our celebrations. This is exactly how we connect each week before we start recording, so that we are standing for each other in our big visions.
Yeah.
Because it's that you don't go about this alone. And so I hold dearly onto that, because it's exciting to connect with you, Carol, every week or every few weeks. Sometimes I know we do batch recordings, but to share that and to watch the growth in you, right in front of my own eyes, to see this transformation, right? It's so beautiful to witness, right? We don't just talk, we truly walk the walk. And this is why we're so passionate about this podcast and being honest and authentic and vulnerable with you and sharing. This is how we apply the tools that we teach into our own lives. And to have, there's that saying, right? And we often say it on here, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend your most of your time. And I see Carol level up, and it's an invitation for me to level up, and just how we see that and we acknowledge that in each of us. And it's just such a beautiful, joyful space to be, and so grateful to come together to be able to then come here and serve you with this podcast and this tool and resource that I know for me. I love listening back our podcast episodes, and every episode I listen to, walk away with a takeaway or a snippet, right? That just makes me light up and reminds me of, again, why we're here and how we are here to serve you.
One of my favorite things about what we do together here, our partnership in particular, is that we do take a stand for each other. We both believe in each other, but it's belief not based on expectation. So what I mean by that is the expectations being the mechanics, and being like, we are leaning into higher and higher levels of excellence, because there's not a pressure surrounding this. It's a belief. We see each other at this level and at this next level and this next level, and it's very powerful. And I just want to pause for a moment to share that I have 2 things that I think are really important right now to be unleashed and unstoppable. I have the La Colina retreats that are in the Andes Mountains of southern Chile. I work and operate in 5 countries of the world. I love living between the US and Chile and have been there for 13 years. But I have really 2 offerings within that. First offering is where I take a stand for you to be at seven plus figures, and to be happy with your wealth, to have your cake and eat it too. Who cares about wealth if you're going to be wealthy and miserable like I've been? So it's about resetting, recalibrating your nervous system in the abundance of nature, the magnificent nature, and then being able to integrate that in an exclusive year-long program. So that is one offer. The second offer is working with those of you who love to do done with you retreats. I've got somebody coming in doing a series of couples retreats. You may want to host an inner circle retreat. We're very exclusive. We only do a few a year. These are something that are highly sought after, and they're very special events. So I just want to mention that right now, because what Alex and I are here doing together with serving you is because we actually really care. We are passionate about this work that we do. And Alex, if I could just take a second, I want to highlight a couple of journeys here with Unleashed and Unstoppable. I have so many of our favorites. I still go back to the very first or second, the three roots,
Mhm.
that were loved, worthy, and safe. That one is an all-time favorite. But with all of the incredible interviews I have so many that come to mind that are just incredible highlights of, the beautiful people that we invite on to bring you information in a different voice than what Alex and I share. And I could go on, but obviously I'm going to say Leah Valencia Key, Brian Sebastian, Diane Strand, Leah Nortiani. I mean, I could just go on and on and on. What about you?
Oh, some of my top favorites, definitely Jen Borals with the breath work, Mel Mason.
Yeah,
I like having Tanessa and Flynn on has
yeah,
been really exciting. Even just thinking of the guests that we've had on that have really played a really big impact on, in us and our leadership. I mean, Michael Strassner is
yeah.
another example. I mean, we really have
Judith
had,
Rich.
yeah, we've had such a plethora of guests and opportunities of people that
Yeah.
we've interacted with and we've got to meet,
And if we didn't mention you, you're equally valuable to us. Just looking back and touching on these spotlights that we've had with having you on the show has been Tiffany Von Clocks, Heather Mariana. I mean, I could go on and on and on mentioning every single one of you. But Alex, we have over 200 episodes. So talk about a long game. This is our 4-year anniversary. We're stepping into 5 years of publishing these shows weekly for you. Did you know that 40% of the 5 million podcasters out there quit after 3 episodes? Look, we've got over 200 episodes. So we're really celebrating this anniversary and ourselves for doing this and sharing this with you.
And if you've also been following along the last couple weeks or months, I also have Free to Be Me. So I think that's in a really big celebration as well. We're heading into this 5th year together, and calling in sponsors. And, if you stand for the vision of raising our next generation of children who do not lose their confidence and don't let the self-doubt take over, I'm calling in sponsorships, other partnerships as well, so that we not only complete all the illustrations, but do get this book published this year and into 1,000 families and homes, so we can change the conversation and the dialogue. So everything we're talking about, all what our guests talk about, leaning into the fear that our children have, that self-dialogue, the self-talk, the possibility, the positivity to tackle each and every day with
Yeah.
that confidence and know that that anything is possible and that they can do it, and just
And
have that innately in them, right? No matter what big wave, right, or fear that they are up against or encounter, through childhood, through teenagership, through young adulthood, and beyond.
beyond. I love that. And definitely lean into the sponsorship there. We are taking sponsorships across the board. If you're aligned with us, we are opening up a couple of spots here on the show. This is easy, simple way to get your message out there. I do have sponsorships available with the La Colina retreats. Unleashed and Unstoppable is a sponsor. Movie Reviews and More is a sponsor. Heather Mariana and her beauty branding company is an incredible sponsor. And then we've also got Aegis Formulas. We've got quite a few coming in. So just let us know. Let us know. Definitely go to take a look. First priority on sponsorship at Free to Be Me. And again, if you feel aligned with the work that we're doing, let's talk about Unleashed and Unstoppable and La Colina retreats as well. Oh, Alex, are you
Oh,
there? Did you froze?
sometimes that happens, right? When you live in Panama, the connectivity. So as you can see, we are celebrating so much partnerships, relationships, connection, and opportunities, right? Carol and I have really lasered into what we're doing, who we stand for. The mission hasn't changed though, and who we serve and what we believe in. And we're just, again, so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for you, Carol, and just really, really looking forward to seeing what this next year on the Unleash Unstoppable podcast brings us.
Right, right. It's going to be so exciting. Ciao for now. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Unleashed Unstoppable podcast with your hosts, Alexandra Carter and Carol Register.
If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review and subscribe.
That's all for this episode, Wildly Ambitious Leaders. See you next week.